Why are there so many pieces? Oh no. Hey everybody, BM Collectibles here, back for another statue unboxing review for you. I have been waiting so long to add a Sasori statue to my collection, one that represents his character so perfectly, and I think Surge Studio did that, so let's jump on in and take a look at that base. Surge normally separates their bases where the top part of it disconnects from the bottom part, but with this one, it is all one piece. If you look closely here, there is some glue residue to the right of the nameplate. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Spinning this around to the back, we will see a plug coming out of the back side. That's how the electric is going to go to the spotlight LED in the front. Now, that's very different. Usually, Surge controls things with a remote, but that's the spotlight you see here. And instead of LEDs coming up from the bottom, but a nice Rocky themed base, you'll see all those little joints later that will be having larger pieces connect to it. I feel like the studio did do a great job at capturing the likeness of the battlefield that Sasori fought on during this scene. For those that don't know, Puppet Jutsu users in the show are of my favorite, and here we have Sasori's Hiruko Puppet, sculpted very nicely. We'll take a look at the bottom. He's got some nice abs and pecs on there. Not used to seeing this side of the puppet. You'll notice that with the positioning of his legs, he's going to be sitting very low to the ground. Now, all those holes that you'll see in his back, both the small and large ones, are where Sasori will later be keying into, as well as a few other things. I believe his tail goes into that back. Though most of his head sculpt is covered, what is showing looks fantastic. And then we have his weapon that's on his left arm. All in all, very great looking sculpt. Now, I gotta say, let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. I would love to see a Granny Chiyo statue made someday. Now, we don't have a statue of her and her 10 puppets, but we do have the head of one of the busted up puppets. This was a cool touch, a nice addition by Surge. This will connect to the right hand of the Hiruko Puppet, and very cool. The way that he's kind of crushing it on the side, it also helps him to balance while sitting on the base. You have to give this guy a little bit of force to get him in exactly where he needs to. Before we install anything else, I'm going to be installing what is the backbone of this statue. So this is a giant rod of iron sand that's coming out of the right side of the statue. Amazing looking texture here. So there are some soft spots where other things will be resting up against it later. But for the most part, it is that rough, gritty sand texture. And I gotta say, I'm not sure you're ready to see how this statue is gonna assemble, all right? This is one of the most brilliantly engineered statues that I have ever seen. Next, we'll be taking a look at the puppet's tail, which was sculpted in two different sections. If we get closely here, it was painted really nice to look like the steel tail that it actually is. And you'll have that joint at the end that'll connect to the other part. And all these different areas were sculpted very uniquely. Looks great. And if we go over here to the end, you'll see that little notch that goes into the back part of the Hiruko Puppet. This might have been maybe a missed opportunity, but I do wish there was a little bit of purple paint that was added on to the tip of the tail. Maybe you can make two different ones and have it swappable, but that would have been cool to showcase all the poison that came from this tail. What do you think? Is that something maybe they should have included? One of the things that Surge is known for is to pack as much as possible onto a statue that represents the character and their abilities, and I feel like they did so much justice to the Hiruko Puppet. Now, the tail itself is just super dynamic. I love how it's just coming straight out of the front like that. In comes Sasori, looking as cold and emotionless as you would imagine him being, in that perfect pose as if he has the chakra strings coming out of his hand. This studio typically does a perfect job at doing the head sculpt, which they yet again did, and the cloak colors look very nice. Again, the overall positioning of him looks great. You'll see that notch there that'll go into the back of the Hiruko, and on here, he'll actually be balancing himself by stepping onto the tail. The notch on the back is going to have something extremely exciting that's going to connect to it that I can't wait to show you coming up. Here's a closer look so you can see exactly how he connects. And with him connected, we have the Kazekage Puppet, which they sculpted the arms separate. Now, I love this. They're already showcasing so much of his abilities in this statue. And what a fantastic job they did, right? So the head sculpt, yet again, for the puppet, looks incredible. He's got the position as if he's opening his mouth to release that iron sand. All the shading in the cloak just looks amazing, and I love how it's actually going to be a different color from all the other puppets that we'll be seeing later. And that piece right there is where he'll connect to Sasori, that notch that was in the back of him. And here is the separate arms. This one is pretty basic. And the next arm is not basic. It looks incredible, the way that they sculpted all the blades coming out of the arm, and you do have those little drips of poison that are flowing all throughout the blades. Such a good job. Man, if they would have did that for the Hiruko tail, that would have been awesome as well, but amazing to see that kind of detail on here. Here are also two pieces of iron sand. They're going to be connecting to the side of the Kazekage Puppet's mouth. Now let me tell you, he already looks cool and bad looking as is, but you throw these two pieces of iron sand on the sides of his face and it looks that much more terrifying. I was amazed and thought it was so cool that even with the Kazekage in a puppet form, he could still use the jutsus he did when he was alive. One of his abilities that I do think would have been awesome to make it into the statue, though it could have been a bit too busy, is the water cannon as well as the flamethrower. I could just see that somewhere on the sides with some LEDs shooting out. Could have been cool. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? There are 3 holes on the base. Now, initially you use 2 of those to connect the Hiruko puppet, but if you're not using those, you would plug them with these pieces of rock that they included. The third hole in the statue that's not typically used is actually where an alternative form of Sasori that you can buy separate will be included. Unfortunately, mine was not able to ship in time to go with my bulk delivery that this statue came in, but this is what he would look like. And maybe if you want to see him, I can showcase him when he does arrive and how everything looks, but I can't wait. That is the form that I would imagine in this statue. In the past, Surge Studio has taken Pikachu and made him cosplay as the character that came out in the Surge statue before. So Datara actually came out before Sasori, and so included with Sasori is a Pikachu cosplaying as Datara. And normally these actually serve to be the remotes that turn the LEDs on with infrared, while this one is actually, that's not the case. The LEDs that are in the statue turn on with a switch, and so this is just an extra free statue that's included. I love these personally, so I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and Naruto, you mesh them together, and what do you get? Something amazing, glorious, and I love these. Getting back to the main statue, it is time to build this bad boy up. There were multiple large pieces of iron sand that were included. The sculpting done on them make it look so wild and erratic and as if it is being controlled by Sasori. I just love how there's no uniformity to it. It's just all over the place, randomized. When I first took them out of the box, I was thinking, what the heck? How are they actually going to get these all to connect to each other? Because it doesn't look like they would. There's no straight parts. I do see the connector joints, but it just didn't make sense to me. But I will give you a close-up shot as to how they do come together. It's actually brilliant because they all rely on each other so that one piece isn't holding all the weight. The statue already hit it home with having Sasori, the Kazekage puppet, the Hiruko puppet, and now they're going to be adding this amazing jutsu of the iron sand. And on top, we're going to be showcasing some puppets that are kind of representing or showcasing the 100 puppet jutsu that he did use in the show. I was totally serious on my thumbnail. This is one of the coolest statues I've ever seen. I love how this all comes together. Here is the first of 5 different puppet sculpts that were used on the top of the statue. This one had an arm that was sculpted separately that's actually going to be used to attach him to the part that he's going to rest on the iron sand. You'll actually notice as well in the positioning of his arms, he will be later carrying a weapon that slides right into both the grips of his hands. Of this puppet, there were 3 different ones made, so we'll attach all of those individually now. And for our second puppet, this is going to be the largest sculpting that you'll see on top. There's actually only 2 of these made. He comes with his hand being detachable, and you have that awesome broadsword that he's holding. And I also love all the different head sculpts on here, how they were uniquely made. This notch on the side is how he'll be connecting to the iron sand, but overall just incredible. Every single piece has the cloak where it's properly shaded, and they're all in those dynamic action type poses. Like I said though, there are 2 of these because they're so large, you don't want them to take up too much room on top. And here we have the third puppet. We'll see this one comes with its weapons pre-attached to it. Very unique, very different from the last few with the hair coloration. And again, those weapons on the side look really cool. It's like the Freddy Krueger version of a puppet here. Unlike the others, he just has a hole in the bottom, so he'll slide right into the notch on the iron sand. In total, there were 3 of these made, so we'll go ahead and attach those now. And for the fourth puppet, we have this creepy smiling one with the gray hair. It kind of looks like he's in a position to hold a weapon, but actually later on, there will be nothing that we do install onto him. I swear, they did such a good job at capturing that creepy, lifeless puppet look to the faces on these. On the back here, you'll see that's how he does attach to the iron sand. I remember when I first saw this statue, I thought to myself, man, they copied all the sculpts on the puppets, and they should have done them all unique and individually. But I have to say, there's a lot of work that went into this statue. To think or expect them to come up with, 12, 13 different sculpts, it's just really not necessary. And when it all comes together, you'll see that they just look incredible on top. It doesn't matter that there is duplicate versions of certain puppets. I do love how they added a little bit of color to the statue with the hair being yellow, orange, purple, gray. As I mentioned before, there's going to be some weapons that some of these creepy puppets are going to be holding. We have 3 different scythes that were used, and these detach from here and slide up through the grips of the characters, and then you just push it right in. Really cool addition, again, that they add all these awesome details that you could put on. And here we have the second weapon. There is 3 of these made as well. The bottom looks really similar to the scythe. It's just the top part is obviously in more of a sword or a lance look to it. I'm going to go ahead and skip through the process of attaching these because it took way longer than I care to admit. What a sight to behold. I swear this could be a statue all of its own, but the fact that this is the cherry on the icing of the cake of an amazing statue blows my mind. For an edition size, per the standard of Surge, it comes with this metal slab. Mine being number 209 out of 220 made. Now that's not 220 in the whole world. That's 220 of the international version. Also comes with this awesome little kickstand to display next to your statue. I know what you want to see next, right? Let me turn the lights off. Oh yeah, look at that. How cool is it? It's really awesome that it's not an overwhelming amount of LEDs that they included. It was just the right amount to accent the character, and the fact that it is that purplish color to represent the poison makes it that much more cool. Here's him versus Surge Kisame. Now, I have to share with you, I ripped out all the LEDs for Kisame because I plan on doing custom LEDs. I want to make a video soon, and here's the lights I'm going to be using, and it's going to be extremely dynamic how I'm going to be able to control and turn the lights on, but I can't wait to show you that future video coming up very soon. That is all for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like, comment below. Let me know what you think of the statue, and I appreciate your time being spent here on the channel. If you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. As always, everybody, do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.